I always think that I have a great understanding of iterative macros until it comes to building one and troubleshooting, and things just keep going wrong. So in this video, I want to talk through a little bit of the problems I encountered with this challenge and how I went about fixing those. So we've got our ice cream data, just quickly to talk you through how to parse it so that we can get started on the iterative macro. We just give it a record ID so we know our respondent numbers. We get rid of those square brackets. We split it out on the commas using a text columns tool. We transpose it so that we have each response in its own row, and then we join on the ice cream flavors. Nice and simple, not too complicated. Now let's go into the iterative macro. So it looks quite messy, it feels quite messy, but let's talk through it. So what we do is we first of all filter to only have flavors which are ranked in first place. Then we count how many times for each flavor, we get the total number of respondents, and we append that together so that we can calculate our majority field. So the majority is if the percentage for that flavor is greater than 50%. And then so that we only have one record to sort of deal with going into the part where we decide, okay, is this our final output or is this just our iteration output? Then we summarize this. So we do take the maximum of that majority, and if that were true, then the true is the maximum value in a true-false field. So we filter that and imagine that we're more iterations through. If that were true, then we join it back to where we've just calculated the majority, because by nature there can only be one flavor which would have a majority at a time. And then we'd just create this text, this nice little text to output it with, and we would be hunky-dory, we'd be done. But then in the case where we don't have a majority, then we've got to do stuff that gets a little bit more messy. So I'm going to have a zoom in so that we can see the tools a little bit better. So in the case where there is not a majority, then we append the rows from back here, from back where we calculated how many votes each flavor had. So we append that to our majority just to get this table basically flowing through. We sort the count in ascending order so that we can sample to the first row. So Rocky Road is the flavor that we basically want to get rid of, and to bump up the second choice of all those people who put Rocky Road first. So we join it back on to the true output here. So anyone who put Rocky Road first, basically, we're looking for their record ID, basically, so that then we can join that record ID onto anything that was the second, third, or fourth choices. So what comes out of that, we just minus off 1 from the name column, which is their preference ranking, so that they have a number 1 spot again. So that's the first thing that's going into our union tool. But then the issues with the iterative macro were coming from the fact that we are using the right outputs of both these tools as well. So basically, anyone who didn't put Rocky Road first, and this is just the second, third, and fourth choices of anyone who didn't put Rocky Road first as well. So we union that all together again. And the reason that this bit was causing issues before was because naturally, once we've got our majority ice cream flavor, then this append here would have no data coming into it. So this would be 0 rows here, just like it is here. And our append would therefore have 0 rows going through, which is all good, good, good. But then the right outputs would be coming through to this union. There's no way to kind of keep them being null or non-existent, if you like, as rows. And therefore, at this stage, we were still having records that were iterating round, even though we'd found our majority flavor. So to deal with that issue, we add on this little append tool to go and stick on that max majority again. So we stick on the max majority to everything, and we add this filter tool in to say, look, only go into the iteration stage if the max majority is false, and we have to then get rid of the max majority field to have it iterate round to be the same schema as the input of the macro, and then hallelujah, it works. So that's a brief kind of rundown of sort of how to get it to only, to actually stop when it hits what you want it to hit, because we did 3 iterations here. Perfect. before it was going up to the maximum of 10. It was very frustrating. I'll just show you the interface designer for this. Oh, it's gone onto my second screen. Give me a second. So just to show you how it's mapped. So you want your iteration input to be, well, there's only one input for the iteration, for the macro input, and we want our iteration output to be this one here, the iterate one. And just so I hope that helps with your configuring of your macros. And I hope that that was a lot more straightforward than it felt to me this afternoon doing the challenge, and thank you very much for watching.